Welcome back to Tell Me Something Good. I'm your host, Jackie.
And I'm your host, Shelly, and today we have a very special guest, Jennifer Bucardo. So she's going to be running for mayor in Asheboro. So we're just here to see what the plans she has for Asheboro and for everyone to get to know her.
Yes, but first, Jennifer, tell us something good.
So my son has been thinking about what he wants to do, what he wants to go to college for, and I think he's finally decided, so that's something good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a hard thing to decide. Yeah. So you know what? Props to him. Yeah. We're proud of him.
What does he want to do? Do you want to share?
So, doctor.
Oh, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing.
Yeah, he's been struggling with what he wants to do, and I'm like, you need to figure it out. All you have to do is make a decision and, go with it. Just follow after it. There are things that are going to get in your way, but as long as you stick to, see that end goal, whatever pathway you choose to take, as long as you get there, it's going to be worth it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congrats to him on deciding.
Yes.
That is exciting.
Didn't he just turned 18, graduated Asheboro High School? So he's ready.
That's awesome. Yeah. We're rooting for him. We already said our something good on the first episode with Kevin, but it's just that we're back to filming and we're excited to have you here, have him here, and just educate us on voting and our city. One of the things that we wanted to ask you, because as you know, Jennifer's running for mayor, is what is a mayor? Technically, what is their role in Asheboro? If you could answer that for us.
So being a mayor is being the voice of the people, advocating on behalf of the needs of the city. But for a very long time, we've only seen select communities have their voice heard. And what I want to bring to the table is different communities, the voices of different communities. That's what I want to do, specifically for working parents who have children that don't have many things to do in Asheboro. So I want to work with local agencies to see if we can make youth programs, and not only just make the youth programs, but also make it accessible to all children and working families. Not only low-income families, but all families, so they can get to these activities, so they can, meet other children and become part of like a great community that I know we can have here in Asheboro.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Southern Latina drinks? I've been very lucky to have tried them. They're so good, Jelly. Oh my gosh. It is. Maybe next time when I'm not pregnant, I might add a little alcohol in there. But it's so good, just how it is. The sodas. How did you start that, or what made you want to start that?
Okay, so I've always been a little entrepreneurial. I've always wanted to work for myself. That spirit has, been in my community, at least in my family. And I was like, I want to build something where I can work for myself and make sure that I can have my own hours. I'm a single mom, so it's very helpful to myself to make those hours for myself. But it came out of wanting to bring together that Southern and that Latina culture that we have in Asheboro, especially for our first generation, Hispanic people, right? And I was like, I want to add some drinks, some of our favorite drinks like coffees, but I also want to add a Hispanic touch to them. So our people, that community knows that, hey, we're here. We're catering to you guys as well. If you guys can get out there and support, that would be great.
Yeah, she has coffee. She has sodas. I know you put champurrado. Is that champurrado I saw that you had the other day?
Yes.
I'm going to have to stop by and get some.
It was my first time making the champurrado, and it turned out amazing. I've also got energy drinks. The drinks that have the chamoy and that tahini on the rim. Those are people's favorite, and they do add alcohol to them. when they get home. Porque si me preguntan, people will ask me, hey, do you have something you can spike it with? I'm like, no. Are you thinking about it? No. Because I can't.
I tried one and I was like, oh my gosh, it would taste so good with a little shot in there, because it's so good and refreshing, and it's a great size drink.
I'm also working on seeing if I can expand it to mobile bartending as well, and also small parties for children.
Yes. We'll leave your information down below for all that.
Do you have any seasonal drinks like the pumpkin spice?
I'm working on those.
Okay.
I just made this La Fresa. That's a cheesecake with strawberry cold foam, and when you mix it, it's so yummy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I want some. I've already tried her coffee, her sodas. At the office, you know, we love.
Yeah. This
Yes.
the spicy sauce.
One time you posted it, and there's another girl in the office who's pregnant, and she's like, I have to go. She literally, we were in the office. She left. Yeah, she's like, I have to go get me one. I don't know. I just saw it on my Instagram, and she went and got one, and they're just so good. So please go support Southern Latina Drinks.
Where's it located?
At the Kimbroug's parking lot, right behind the hospital in Asheboro.
What inspired you to run for mayor?
I saw the need of the communities. I don't feel like we're represented very well. We need more diversity, not only cultural diversity, but also in age-wise. We see elderly people making decisions when it's younger families who are moving to Asheboro. We want a place where we can work, where we can play, and where our children are safe. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, and I'm younger. I feel like I would be able to represent the needs of our community and also get the information that the city has out to the community. Like I mentioned, my degrees in public health is healthcare management with a focus on public health, but I did audit several mass communication classes just so I was able to, get information out there to the people. And that's something, that I feel like we need here in Asheboro because it's growing.
Yeah, and there is a lot more Latinos now than there was years ago, and it's only growing. And I think, and like I told Kevin, I think it's important to have a voice for us in big decisions that are made here in Asheboro.
Do you think your cultural background gives you a unique perspective on leadership?
Definitely. So I completely understand what it's like to be at the table because I myself have made that possible for myself. I made it time for it. I know people say they don't have time to get into politics, but I've made time for it, know? But I've also seen that not a lot of Hispanic people, not a lot of people who come from poverty get onto those seats. So they've made like visuals or little get-togethers of this is what it's like to be, under the poverty level. I've experienced it. I've lived it. I actually grew up in Asheboro Housing Authority, low rent. Yeah, over there, yeah. So I know what it's like. I don't need that, experience, the fake experience of what it's like. But the thing is that the decisions that are being made by the local government is coming from people who've never experienced it, people who come from money usually, and we need a different perspective. We need a perspective from those who their voices are not on the table, who those decisions affect their children. So every parent wants their children to get ahead in life, right? But they don't have the time to get to the table because they're working 10, 12 hours back-to-back shifts, and their children are at home. Daycare is a big expense. After school programs are a big expense, but we're not investing in the children. And I don't know if you know the George Carver Washington Center.
Yes.
They've made some public forums about the shootings, between the youth amongst each other. And it's like, okay, every time we go to these programs and we see these forums and we see what's going on and we hear the cases, and people are like, what's going on? What is the root of the problem? The root of the problem is poverty. These kids wouldn't be doing a lot of the things that they're doing unless they needed the money to help mama make ends meet.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So, and it's like, we can't say that these kids are bad. They're not bad in nature. But we don't have the programs in the city to keep them out of these situations, to keep them out of jail, to keep them out of, going to these programs that the justice system has for youth.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they benefit from those bodies being in there, incarcerated. We need to be able to keep them out. We don't have enough people in our community to stand up and fight for that.
It's so sad, and I think we've seen a lot more of that in Asheboro too, like shootings in between younger, and I think it is really sad to see that. And you're right, they're not bad people. It's just
poverty pushes you to do things that
that you wouldn't do if you didn't feel like you had to. And it's sad that people feel like they have to do these things.
Also for your parents, because I know the struggle of being a single parent and not being able to make ends meet. It's tough. And not being able to buy your kids the supplies sometimes, the shoes, the clothes. And, you know, then you want to get into sports, but sports cost money.
Yeah.
Then it's like not only, okay, let's say we'll cover the cost of the fee. What about the cleats? What about the shoes or whatever else that you need for that sport, you know? Or, como se llama, we were talking about making it more accessible because the programs are there. Some of the programs are there, but kids don't have a way to get there. So transportation is a big issue because we're growing. So making, you know, that accessible for these working families is, you know, I'm a mom. It's something that I wish I had. So these experiences that, you know, I've gone through. And I feel like a lot of people see me as very young, but I became a mother at age 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been a mom for so much longer. I feel somewhat like old.
But you had to grow up fast.
I did have to grow up fast, but I also saw the needs of these communities. So, you know, I understand the struggle. I'm not going to say that I know the solution for every single thing, but I can raise awareness to it.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful because I'm sure the other people running aren't single moms and they can't really relate to that. Because I can, because I have a son in sports too. And I'm not from Asheboro, but I think there is a need for more support. And
not only sports, but also like the cultural things like art. You know, all those art supplies are expensive. But where I used to live in a different community when I was a child, and they had like in, you know, on this time Memorial Park?
Yes.
It was like a place like that where they had after school programs like for an hour of arts, of music. And, you know, the funds for those programs have been cut at a federal and state level. So we as a community can come together because there are funds. The way we can get funds are from grants. All of these organizations that we have already established can apply for those grants, but we just need somebody with vision.
Yeah.
Somebody that sees the necessity in having this, the importance of having something like this. Yeah, I agree. I remember telling my boyfriend, I was like, how do we keep our kid? Because, you know, I'm pregnant. I'm like, how do I keep him from doing things that, you know, you don't want your kid to grow up and do. Like, that's a big one of my fears that I have. And he's like, activities, just keep them busy. That's really all you can do. And keep them around, having fun in ways that they don't have to.
Learning new things.
Yes, learning, playing sports. But you're right, it does cost money. And it's important for there to be someone who advocates for single moms, single dads, or low-income families.
Okay, next question. Have you encountered any challenges or biases during your campaign due to your identity? If so, how have you handled it?
The challenges that I've seen are mostly online. A lot of the things that I say sometimes don't sit very well with certain people, but at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know my values, and I know what I stand for, why I said what I said, and, you know, sometimes I'll say, give me a mic, I'll say it again.
Period.
She said what she said, and she meant what she said.
Period. Because if we don't call some of these things out, and see, here's the thing. One of the things that really just irks me is racism. And it's not just white people being racist. It's also Hispanic people being racist sometimes. And I call it out in every single community. And do I get backlash? Yes. But I don't care. Because it has to be called out. If we don't call it out, a lot of the things, they're going to stay hidden. They're just going to continue to do it. And here's the thing. If I don't call it out, they're going to keep doing it. And if they keep doing it, their kids are going to keep doing it. And who are they going to do it to? My kids? I think not. I think not.
Not my kid.
Not my kids. So everything I do it for my children and for all children. Because nobody deserves to be treated with disrespect. And, you know, and some communities don't see it as disrespect. They see it as this is always how it's been. Oh, you know, just deal with it. No.
And a lot of times,
gonna deal with it.
Racism starts in the home. You hear it. You know, you grew up thinking it's okay to say these things or to believe things about people because of their color. And I think that it is important to talk about it.
And
It's
people
real. It happens.
People say racism was, segregation and slavery was a long, long time ago, but segregation just ended like almost 100 years ago. That means that some of the people that, went to schools that were still segregated are still alive. So we can't say it's all gone when those people grew up with that ideology that, hey, we're better than these people. We need to stay away from them. No, that's not the case. That's why we continue to raise our voice to make sure that it doesn't continue to happen. Because my kids are not going to listen to that. And I've taught my children, like, no, you're not going to allow people to talk to you like that.
Not to talk bad about the current mayor or anybody, but do you think these are conversations that they're having about race, like racism or?
No, honestly, I really don't think that. But there is one lady who is on the city council. From what I read about her, she was very active with civil rights and sit-ins in town.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was like, let me look up, who all is running. And I was like, yeah, we still need her on there. Because some of the things that the community hasn't seen about decisions that are being made, maybe she saw it. And she sees it from a different lens. She sees it from that perspective where, hey, this is not benefiting our community here. Can we add X, Y, and Z? Or can we take away this? Or this is a little too, no. That's why we need representation in there.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're talking about it because they don't experience it. And a lot of these folk think, hey, it doesn't exist because it doesn't happen to them. But here's the thing. Now, every Hispanic has a story. Every African American has a story that says, hey, I was discriminated against. It's racism. There are some white people that say, I've never seen it. Be glad that you haven't seen it. Like, that you haven't experienced it. You are on the other end. Usually it's the people who are being racist.
And I think it takes just one person in the room to get you to view things differently. Better if there's more people in the room to get you to view things differently. Because even people, I don't think that this is an excuse for being racist or anything, but they really think that it's normal and they think it's okay until there's that one person who challenges their mindset. And there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with people, but it's about educating each other. Right. And maybe I think I've had conversations with people who say something and I'm like, that's kind of not okay. And they're like, it's not. I'm like no.
Diet racism.
Yeah.
Right.
And then maybe that's how they learn, but they're like, I've always said this or I've always done this. And I'm like, that's kind of rude, but it's about education and it's about having one person in there or more, the more the merrier that can come together and educate. That way their kids are not growing up thinking that that's okay, because then it's just going to keep happening.
And sometimes you don't even have to say anything. As long as you're in that room, the conversation changes. Now they can't say these Latinos. It's like this Hispanic people, or to watch what they say because they know. Yeah. They know times are changing, people are changing. We want more people to raise their voice and make it known that we're not going to tolerate the disrespect because your grandparents taught you that way. Your parents think that's normal. Then you're going to teach your children, your grandchildren that that's normal. We're not. We don't want to. Even if I weren't running for mayor, I mean, I've been doing this for a while, Jackie.
Well, remember I was at that protest?
Yeah.
And you were there?
With that protest, the Black Lives Matter protest, people were looking at what was going on the news in Charlotte, and they were thinking, oh, that's how it's going to get here. Not only that they were going to destroy downtown and burn down small businesses, but the thing is that they really didn't understand what was going on, and we were trying to raise awareness to police brutality. And we were saying, hey, the African American community is being targeted by police officers when they are talking to people. There's police brutality. Like they don't do this to white people. They sometimes do it to Hispanic people, right? But how they're getting treated, how black people are getting treated here, it needs to stop. That's what we were saying. It needs to stop. This is basically systemic racism. You're targeting African Americans. You're searching them without warrants, without any cause, because you think you can. You're saying, and then here's the thing: a lot of people that were against a lot of Hispanic people that were against the Black Lives Matter are now understanding that process, how they're violating those rights of individuals now that it's happening to people in our community, and they didn't understand it then. That's why I was like, you know what, it's going on there. I need to make sure that people here in town are aware, and they're like, oh, it doesn't happen here in town. You're right, and it better not. It just better not. Why was it so deep in my heart to do it? Because I had a 16-year-old son who was going to be discriminated against because, you know, he's not the right shade of white. So it's like if he ever gets in trouble, it's like, or he's ever with the wrong crowd, there's no questioning him. It's automatically, we're going to target you, you know? And
I think it's about educating our youth and educating ourselves on what is allowed versus what's not allowed if you get pulled over.
Here's the thing, the African American community, they're teaching their kids at home at an early age. You need to make sure your hands are on the wheel. You ask them, hey, can I move my hands to get my driver's license? I have no weapons on me, just so they can stay alive. That was the problem. How are you going to, you know, say that this community is a safe community when not everybody feels safe? Not everybody feels safe to call law enforcement because they're afraid of, you know, hey, I was the one who was assaulted at one point, and instead of, you know, taking my story, what they did was arrest me.
What?
Yes. And do you see?
Yeah.
I was like, I was the one who called the cops. Yes. And
that is, oh my God.
Yes, I know. And so I've experienced discrimination before. I know what it feels like. That's why I fight so hard against it, against that, and against racism, because it has no place in our town. It's like, I'll be damned if my kids have to go through that.
Especially because Asheboro is such a, like, melting pot of people now. Like, racism is so outdated. Like, and people don't realize, like,
and they say we need to move away from that. You know, that doesn't happen. The thing is, we also have that statue that, you know, the African American community has been saying, hey, get it removed, get it removed. Town here in North Carolina that recently removed it, but I reposted it and I said maybe Asheboro is next. And the thing is, people are saying you can't erase history. That's not erasing history. And plus, it's like, what if Germany had a statue of Hitler? That's basically what it is, because it's these people who were fighting to keep slavery alive. It's reminding the African American community that what they went through, not in a public, not only on, like, you know, at a park or a regular public place, but at the courthouse where they used to hang people.
You know, if elected as mayor, what are some of those changes that you would like to make?
I would like to focus more on bringing representation, also youth development.
Yes.
And making sure that there are more programs for the youth, that we're catering to the younger generations, because this town has historically been a place where the elderly go to retire, but we're more than that now. We have a lot more working families that want to work and play here. And we have to make it possible for them to do that, while also making sure that their children are well taken care of, and that we build a community for everyone, not just a select few.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, because literally the kids are the future.
Yeah.
Like, when we're gone, it's them, and then they're going to be the next people up. So,
and we need to focus on mental health too. A lot of those programs, you know, they're going to better their mental health. And, you know, me having that degree in healthcare management with a focus on public health, that allows me to understand the needs that we have in this community, and mental health is the second top need in the health department.
Okay, next question. Is there anyone who inspires you?
Yes, a lot of the greats inspire me. Lincoln, JFK, MLK, Malcolm X, because they fought hard, and sometimes that's the push that we need in that right direction. Even though some people are like, you know, change takes time in small increments, because people can't, you know, change super fast, because that's just not going to hold up. But we do need that. And these people did it. They did it in a great way. Did they lose their lives? Yeah, but they did it for a cause greater than them.
Their legacy.
Is there anything else that you would like to share while you're here?
I would like to add, guys, I am not racist. I promise. People saying that I'm racist, I'm totally not racist. I do want to call racism out because we have to. And if you feel like you are targeted, maybe reevaluate what you believe in your belief system. That's about it.
I had told a few people that I was going to be meeting with you and Kevin. And I was like, do you have any questions for them? And one of the questions they had was, where's he at? What's your plan on homelessness?
So I am one of those people who gives rides to people because I want to hear their stories sometimes. And I know it's dangerous. I get it. But sometimes I just want to know. I'm like, okay, I've seen, a couple people up and down. I'm like, hey, I'm going that way. I can drop you off, on my way. Yeah. And then I'm like, so, why do you have somewhere to live? Do you stay with somebody? What's going on, right? And what most of the issues of homelessness come down to is mental health issues. And people think is substance abuse, but substance abuse is an outcome of mental health issues. A lot of people, they just don't want to work. They're more comfortable just, they're tired of living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. And it's like, yeah, we all are. And I totally get it. But at the same time, it's a system that we all kind of just live in. And we say these people are wrong. Are they really wrong to have a different mindset? Now the mental health part comes from trauma that they've probably experienced that's shaped their reality now to where they don't see having that stability as something necessary, right? Some of it is from substance abuse, which we have seen a lot of clinics that provide Suboxone, which is a drug to get people off of oxycodone. It's oxycodone. So after we had some of those clinics open up, we have seen an increase in, homeless individuals here, or not only homeless, but unhoused is what you should probably refer to people as. But dealing with that is making sure that we have mental health practices in town where we can get them funded federally, because mental health is expensive. Yeah. I myself have a therapist, and she charges $100 per hour. Wow. So if you're unhoused, what makes you think that they're going to be able to get those services that they need, that they desperately need, and it's not a one session. It is like a continuous, maybe 1-2 years of therapy, where you go through, all of the experiences that have possibly traumatized you, that you want to work on, that you need to work on, to either get away from some negative thinking in your life, or maybe you need medication, because a lot of these mental health issues, they don't go away with just therapy. Some of them require medication. People that I've talked to, a lot of people have, hear voices, maybe see things, so they can't really be active members in society. And the only way that I feel we are going to be able to treat that problem is to make sure that we have enough mental health practitioners here in Asheboro at an affordable or free cost, because they're not going to change their ways unless presented with different information, and they're not going to see any other different information unless they understand. I don't know if you remember, like when I ran for Congress, that was my number one priority, making sure that that K through 12 had mental, physical, and emotional health being taught at grade appropriate levels. Because if we can teach it there, we don't have to pay $100 an hour. Yeah. Yes. They would be getting that information from a system that should be designed to educate you, not only designed to make you a working person.
What are the rules for voting if someone wants to vote for you? What is the process for that?
Okay, so you have to be a U.S. citizen to be able to vote. You have to have your driver's license, and your driver's license must show an Asheboro address. Only people who reside in Asheboro can vote for these municipal elections, right? And there are 2 elections They just happen to be back to back this time. The primary election, which is where there's a whole lot of people and we're narrowing it down. That's the semifinals, as I usually call it. And then the finals, where we crown the winners, are the general elections. So they're right back to back in September and October. Can I add one more thing, guys?
Yes, of course.
So I don't know if y'all have seen the water levels of cancer-causing chemicals in our water.
I haven't seen
in
that.
Asheboro. Well, there are politicians who put profits over people, and sometimes I get it. We need jobs in Asheboro to keep them here, but water is an essential to survival. And if we don't protect our water, not only here, but it's also affecting different communities all the way down to Fayetteville, North Carolina. So we need to make sure that we have people in office who advocate for essentials like land, water, and air. Because I know some of these companies aren't really regulated, and people don't know how to test any of these things. But like I said, my degree, healthcare management, public health, that's my number one priority. That's the only reason I decided to run for any office, because I understand that we cannot just keep begging and asking these elected officials to do what's right. People have to stand up and do it themselves. So that's why I put myself on the line. And I don't mind what people say. They can criticize me all they want, but I know that I have the knowledge, I know that I have the passion, and I know that I have the work ethic to make it happen.
Oh my gosh,
I didn't know that.
Me either. That low-key scares me.
Yes, no, and the thing is, like, people think, I never drink any tap water ever for like ever, but we bathe in it,
Yeah.
and it seeps through the biggest organ of our body, the skin.
And my hair hasn't grown in years. I did get a filter, but I need to change it for the shower. Does that help?
It's a real filter for like the entire home would help.
Okay.
Because I live in a new development, and our water is terrible down there. It's like the last part of the community in Asheboro, so like everything goes all the way to the end, right? And it's just it's terrible. I know a lot of people had trouble with that, but it also causes like hormonal imbalances too. So we just have to make sure that we take care of it.
Well, guys, voting, is it September 18th for you as well? September 18th. We'll leave more information in the description. Jen, thank you so much for coming on. I hope that people who are watching feel like they've, learned a lot. And if you have any questions, like I said, leave it in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Jen, for being
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And again, we'll have the information in the description. Bye, guys. Bye.